Hey,
Hey,
hey!
everybody.
Look, how's it going? I'm so happy to be here for another episode of
Woo.
Henshins and Homies. Today we are joined by a very, very legendary guest. We have the more phenomenal, legendary, Coolio, Julio. That's his full name. I just listed his whole government.
It's on the birth certificate.
Yes. Oh my God, Julio, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. It's mostly been busy with like university stuff, but thankfully I'm already graduating in December. So
Oh, congratulations! I just
No.
started my college journey recently. Wow, so I get what you're going through right now. But man,
yeah,
wow.
So where Frankie has
Ah,
an entire whirlwind tornado of chaos around him, you have a grip on it, a control over it. It's right here. It's going to get pushed over here when you graduate.
I will say though, I do wish that my dorm room looked as cool as yours.
Yeah, that's the
Eh,
shelving. I can't. Ooh, it makes me like so
let's get a
envious to
quick
see the
close
cool
up.
shelving that everybody has to display their cool stuff. Oh my gosh.
And the floor? Is that marble? Marble
I
flooring?
think it is.
He said, I think. He's like, yeah, I think it is.
You know.
It's whatever.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just like
just
I
my
bought the
parents
house.
work in
Like, is
construction, so like whenever I see marble, it's just like, oh, it's just normal.
oh, that's normal. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
no,
grew up with
it's fine.
tiles.
Like I'm used to it
No.
because like my parents work used to work in construction, and then like growing up, I got exposed to like a lot of like building techniques. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's marble. Oh yeah, that's wood.
Right. You can just recognize
That's
it.
why
Yeah.
your room looks so nice because
Yeah.
your family is like into interior design, I imagine, right?
Yeah, and like architecture designed perfectly for what you need.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Basically, I
the
wanted
white
to go
walls.
for all white for like the walls and the furniture and stuff, just
Mhm.
like to actually have the color of like all the stuff pop out.
Yeah,
I love that. Wow.
it's
Man,
working.
amazing. Zach, how's it going for you today?
Good. I'm right in the thick of it. I'm gonna be pretty soon with my new job. I'm a reading tutor now with this new awesome program. And
Yes.
next week we should be getting the kiddos in there to at least start something with it. So very happy about it. Very high paying job, which is always great. And also helping kids learn how to read is just the most beautiful thing. I'm so excited about it. So yeah.
We talk about superheroes all the time on this podcast, but little did y'all know that we got one as your co-host.
Stop
So
it, guys. Oh
show
my god.
some love, show some support. This guy is
And there's
helping
another thing I'm
kids
excited
of the
about. We'll get
future.
to that in the huddle. We'll get to that in the huddle. Don't worry.
Yes, we're gonna get to that in the huddle. As for me, I'm doing okay. I mentioned before that I'm in college right now. I'm in my room. I'm getting that education. I am. I'm a college student, and I definitely know that because I'm doing a lot of college things. Take that as you will, but I am having a good time, and I'm just happy to be be here to come this far in my life. It's a privilege,
I'm
really.
so proud of him. Every day I'm like, dude, I know it's a lot. I hope you're okay. I'm just checking in to make sure you're alive, buddy.
Yes. I'm alive for now. If anything happens, we have another host. So yeah, that's good. Anyway, we are going to go into our lovely little corner of the internet. Henshin Huddle. We're here. And even though today's Tension Huddle is going to be a little bit of a smaller one, we do have, or Zach has some really big news to share. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
So first off, tomorrow near where I live, quick little ditty about it. So I've never been to a convention before a day in my life. So it's been a dream to want to go to one, right? And usually most
Right.
of them that happen anywhere near me, they're cool, but they just don't have the exact guest I would love to have there, namely like ranger actors, things like that. Keep that in mind.
Right.
So within my little hovel that is known as Michigan, there is a city known as Monroe, Michigan, and a convention there called Monroe Pop Fest. At this convention tomorrow that I'm going to be going to, which is literally 3 hours away, but I'm going to do it.
Wow.
The
Talk about
actors
dedication.
for Down on Thunder Blue, Kevin Duhani, I'm not sure how to say his name. I need to know that before I go. And Jeff Cotso, Down on Thunder White, are both going to be there. So I'm going to definitely get
Yes!
signatures.
Nice.
You know, I'm going equipped, of course. I'm going to get
Equipped.
signatures. on my
Right.
copy of the show, and I'm gonna gamble a little bit. It's the
Ooh.
first time I've said this out loud to anyone besides Frankie and a few people in a DM. But KD, as you know, Kevin Duhaney, the kid, is an awesome individual, super duper in touch with the fans. He's been really great during Power Month, behind the scenes stuff, whatever. And
Right.
I'm going to see, instead of a photo, if the man will do me the honor of doing the Dino Thunder Power Up How Morph pose with me on video. I don't know if he will, but I'm going to give it a shot. It depends on how busy he is, but I'm thinking he's cool enough that he'll do it. I just hope I don't make Jeff Prato feel bad because I only have so much budget to pay for stuff. So it might just be a signature from Kevin and the video, and I might not get a lot from Jeff, and I hope he doesn't feel bad. But
No. I mean, hey, as long as you are polite with them, they'll enjoy your company, man.
exactly.
I really do hope that Kevin does that video though, because
we'll see. And dude, whatever,
cool.
if he wants me to wait and like set back for a little bit so they can get more signatures and things done and come back, that's fine. I don't care because I want to flex on all of my friends that I did this. Finally, it's like a childhood dream come true if it can happen.
Oh, absolutely, man. You got to talk about it back and forth all day, 24 hours. Okay, maybe not that long, but like just talk about it, reminiscing.
I might do a little vlog thing because I'm going to be taking our other car that has a little like thing that can hold your phone while you drive or whatever. Ooh. So I might do like a little vlog thing on the way there, talking about it, and maybe a little bit afterwards when I'm there if I can.
The whole 9, guys.
I'll try, but I'm going to be all over the place looking at stuff. So.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, I would love to see a vlog of this convention, man. Oh,
I would try.
Man. Yes, please. No, yeah. I remember when I met Tessa, the lovely actress who played Izzy on Dino Fury, now Cosmic Fury. I was so happy to hear that she was going to a local comic store in Brooklyn, and the moment that I heard that was happening, I had to go. Like if I didn't go, it would have been a crime at that point because I've never been to a convention myself.
How was that set up? Like, did you have to wait in a line? Was there like a format for it, or how did it go?
Yeah, no. So Tessa was there, and she was doing some autographs. If you wanted to pay, you could also do some photos. I mean, I guess I waited in a line, but it wasn't that many people. It was like a group of 3 other dudes. Hey, if you're watching this podcast. And we were just in line, just waiting to meet Tessa, and only one of us could be in the comic. It was a fairly like small comic book store, so it wasn't like a whole like big area. Like it was like a room size comic book store. Tessa was in there doing stuff, and only one person could be there at a time with her friends, agent, and people who work there. So yeah. It wasn't anything crazy, but I did really enjoy meeting her, and so I can only imagine how excited you're going to be for tomorrow's convention.
I already have it planned out in my head how I'm going to ask him, and then if he does say yes, I'm going to be like, all right, I need to get the jitters out, and I've been practicing all week. Okay, I say all week. I've been practicing my whole life for this moment, sir.
For this one moment with Kevin. Yes, you got to do it right. I need to see the legs spread out. I need to see the game face. I need to see the whole 9, okay? I'm not trying to see this.
Bro, when I'm done with it though, like once I get it done and it's just the raw footage of it, you can absolutely do whatever you want to it editing it. You can do whatever you want with it to make it cool if you want to.
I don't think I have to do anything to make it cool because it'll already be cool, okay?
It'll be coolio.
I knew he was gonna pull that sometime in the episode. I didn't know it was going to be before the 10-minute mark. Mr. Julio, what's your convention experience?
I've actually gone to a lot of conventions since 2013. My first convention experience was SuperCon 2013, and it was really just like a last minute thing because my sister was like, oh yeah, the Green Ranger is going to be at like this event. I'm like, all right. So then I went, I met Jason Dave Frank, rest in peace, David Yost, Walter Jones, Barbara Goodson, and I'm not exactly, I think that was everyone. I know like 2014,
so many, it's hard to keep count.
Conventions, and 2015. The last convention I went to was Ranger Stop 19, and then the pandemic happened.
Right.
Man.
Sure.
But if I could, I definitely would love to be at Ranger Stop 23 or at Morphicon 24.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
That's part of why I'm doing this one because like Morphicon and Ranger Stop always happening in literally the opposite sides of the country away from me makes it really difficult in terms of like ridiculous flight, cost and all of that. So I was like, I got to take this opportunity. It's never going to probably happen again.
That was me with Tessa because I haven't been to a convention center. I don't have the budget, or I didn't have the budget. We'll see in the future to go to a convention center. So this was right up my alley. I'm like, yo, like, let me just pop by. Just like you, Zach. Like most of these conventions are pretty far away. Like
Even if they were close, the price would still be an obstacle too. So
oh, absolutely. There are some. You know how many things are held in New York, but I just don't go either because I didn't have the money
New York
or
Comic-Con is there. Ouch.
right?
Painful.
Or, like, there's a lot of reasons, but I do plan on going to a convention sooner or later. And I hope I get to meet Mr. Julio, cool Julio. One day.
Same
at this
here.
convention. Yes. Okay. Well, keep us posted, Zach. And I don't know, maybe the video will be posted on the channel. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of new video posted on the channel, I want to let everyone know that we just started a whole new series. This series is called Toku Spotlight, and we're essentially visiting all these seasons and going more in depth into them. And recently, Zachary just posted his own video reviewing Kamen Rider Geats.
I'm brand spanking new, wet behind the ears, if you will, to editing and all. If you guys don't know the magic of the behind the scenes, which is non-existent for my own YouTube channel, which is I record it and throw it on YouTube because I don't have the time or the editing software. Now I have a bit more time, sometimes depending on the day. So I gave it a shot and I did this review, and Frankie knows I recorded it about 400 million different times and then finally got it the way I wanted it to.
Guys,
But it
Zach
wasn't that bad,
worked hard,
honestly. And I think I could have done more. And I think that if I really like put like a little more time into it, if I could, I could have made it even better. But I was pretty proud of it, honestly.
I'm proud for you, man. It came out amazing.
One of the
I'm
effects-
saying
in the beginning, right after our little animated intro, it's okay. The little, Henshins and Homies logo intro thing, which I love. That transition right there reminded me of like Geats, like the way that the theme song does with the little slice of the screen and everything.
glass.
So I didn't know for sure if that's what it was. I'm like, this looks pretty close to that. So I put it through. So there we go.
Yes.
Check it
It
out.
came out well.
It's only my
it's
thoughts
gonna-
on the show, not Frankie's. Technically, he might put on his own video.
I'll say that most of the things that you were talking about in the video, I basically agree with. I don't really have any specific things that I want to add to that video, but
Never
if I
mind.
do,
It
I could. It's both of our opinions, right? No, I'll add my thoughts to it in a future video. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe an installment of Geats Part 2. I don't know, right? But yeah. So I'll include that video in the description if you guys haven't seen it yet. Zach put a lot of effort into it, so just go ahead and support it. I know I'm a little laggy right now. I can tell because my little Wi-Fi signal is popping up in the corner. I'm sorry if I sound a little laggy or if my video's glitching out a bit.
No, you're
Can't
good.
have a good
Couple
episode
times you
without
Yeah, everything's
talked
good
like
here.
a little bit, but it's not nearly what it was when like we first started and everything.
Don't remind me.
Our
of
third co-host, the Wi-Fi.
those times when I would legit get off the call. Like, it was that bad. Julio. Now my headphone is telling me that it's low on battery. Gentlemen, let's get on to the topic of today's video before things start to die and glitch out on me. I'm struggling over here. All right, well, did I tell you to do it? Go ahead and clap in 3, 2, 1. There we go. No, so you were too late. All right, so today's topic is going to be centered around something that we have touched on numerous of times in the past, but never really gave a good... Hey.
I won't say
Never
it.
really gave... Not yet. Never really gave it, like, a good analysis. Today we're going to be discussing Power Ranger movies and what we want from one. If we ever get one. Right, because Jonathan Entwistle, he's getting this whole reboot thing going on. Allegedly, it's still happening. I don't know, but hold your thoughts, hold your horses. He's so excited, Julio. But we got to get into like what we're looking forward to with the future of Power Ranger movies and what to expect. Because if we're gonna go off anything, I don't know, maybe from something like from 2017, I think there's some stuff that we can improve. We'll get there. Also, we are going. We are going to get into another one of our search for the worst B topics, and today's is going to be centered around weapons. So, all right, gentlemen, who wants to go first? Zach.
I'll
Oh
let
my
him go
God, since he's
first.
side.
I was
Looks like
trying
you're
to be
going
nice. I
first.
was gonna
Wow.
say he can go first because he's our guest, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that can go into it to make a good movie, right? I think that there was a time when I was like when I saw the original 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I loved it clearly as a kid. Duh, every kid really did. My parents absolutely hated themselves that they took me to go see it because they didn't know what was going on or care. But I didn't care because I was having a great time. And then I had like a little stint where I was like, oh, I don't, whatever. And I acted like I didn't like it. But now looking back on it, it had a lot of awesome parts to it, even though I've heard the production was an absolute hellhole. And it did a lot of really cool things. I don't quite love that they were just like, here's this continuity, but now we're going to throw that away and just do our own thing with how they get the ninja powers on the show. It felt really weird and disjointed. But I think it had a lot of good parts to it, as did the 2017 movie and even the Turbo movie, even though I don't like Turbo that much as a season until we get our second, cast of the Rangers, TJ and Ashley and, all the rest of them, Carlos. Um, uh, so I think it can work, but I think there's ways to. The 2017 movie was almost there, is what I'm trying to say. And there's things that they could have taken more of from the 1995 movie to push it to where it needed to be. 2017 had enough of the new things in it, having new actors, a bit more inks to it, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't have enough of it that felt Power Ranger-y enough until the last 23 minutes of the movie, which was weird because they acted like the whole movie was going to be it all the way throughout. And then we get them morphing once near the end with a machine and the Zord fight, and then we're done. And we get nothing except for the comic things that came out that were kind of extra things. But you know what I mean? Like in film, we didn't get a lot with it, which made me sad because I feel like the performances were great. I think the actors did a great job with their characters. I think that what's her name that played Rita was great too. I don't like what they did with Goldar. But I think it can work because the way that tokusatsu is as a genre is already heavily effects-based, heavily like a spectacle, in general. So I think that it just absolutely is begging to be made into a film. And they can do it with other things like Shin Godzilla, Shin Kamen Rider, Shin Ultraman. Like, you can do it. But they've struggled so hard with Power Rangers because I think they've struggled so hard with what they want the show to be and also what they want the movie to be as an extension of that. Do we connect it? Do we not? The 1995 movie didn't connect it, but then Turbo did for some reason. Like Turbo was canon, but the other one wasn't, which was weird. So yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it, and I have my own idea for what I would want for one, but we can wait a little bit. But that's kind of the things I have to say about what would make it work, I guess. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm taking notes of what you're saying, and so far one of the biggest ones that you mentioned is continuity. I feel like Julio, you can go next after Zach, but I will just say quickly that if we're gonna make a Power Rangers movie, ideally it would be great if it was connected to the show. Kind of like how so many movies from Kamen Rider, even though they're not technically a part of the show, because usually these movies happen around the end of the season, it still is a part canon to the universe. Like, 01 and all that stuff. But we're really talking about like big blockbuster, like hour-long movies.
And the way I kind of compare it with what you're saying is like and just real quick, I'm sorry, but is when they did I think it was Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right? So the end of that movie, the way that ends with, if you haven't seen it, spoilers, Jesus, why have you not been in the theater for a good decade or longer? Come on, watch the movie. Anyway, so in that movie, they reveal some things about Hydra, right? And those revelations tie directly into, at the time, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. There was an episode that happened the week before the movie came out. The movie came out, it tied into the movie, and then once the movie was done, the next week, the show picked up directly from the events of the film to go to the next episode. Genius. It's a way to do it. You're not like hinging the whole show's life on it, but you're at least connecting it where something from the movie's affecting the plot going forward on the show. Same thing you could do here. It doesn't have to be super deeply connected, but some kind of connection so that it feels like there's a reason I'm seeing it and also watching the show.
Really big point.
What do you think, Mr. Coolio?
Cool.
Yeah,
Coolio.
my first exposure to a Power Rangers movie was with the Turbo movie. This was like, I wasn't born at the time of Turbo. I was born like years later, but I think it was like Cartoon Network or something. There was like one channel airing the Turbo movie, and then that night, like my parents and I would actually switch the channel back and forth because they also wanted to watch a live concert. And then just the idea of a Power Rangers movie was like so fascinating to me, where it's like you're actually grabbing everything, but you're making it like actually big budget and
theatrical almost,
sort of like polishing everything up. And then a few years later, I watched the Mighty Morphin movie on that Comcast thing. I forgot what you call it, but it's like where you would be able to go into the settings and rent out a movie.
Oh, they're like streaming type of like on-demand thing. Yeah.
So I watched that with my mom. I thought it was pretty good in terms of action, but I would say definitely the 2017 movie won my heart in terms of like story.
Sure.
Like I was in high school at the time, so I really related with that 2017 movie.
Sure.
And especially with Billy. Like I actually walked up to RJ Seller at Morphicon when I did the photo shoot. I'm like, hey, can I give you a hug?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Really
He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, I think part of what you were saying also is what I'm thinking, where if you're going to have a Power Rangers movie, it should tie into the show to give it like that sense of like, oh, why should you watch it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and give the viewers something to bite on, something to chew on. I mean, you know, like current day with like the certain like state of things, you know, it's kind of uncertain where we're going with things. And if they had something more solid in place that we knew for sure what it really was, that would be great. And it would be, you know, it would need to be something like that, where like this movie is a, you know, connected to whatever the season is thing, or, you know, maybe the events of Cosmic Fury or whatever they are set up this movie or whatever, or maybe they don't, who knows. It needs to be something like that, where it almost feels like the 1995 movie, the Turbo movie, and the 2017 movie all have, each of them are strongest in the parts they have, and they just need to combine it together as like its own little megazord here. Because like 2017 movie, the best acting, absolutely. The heart, the story, absolutely. The Turbo movie has the continuity at least, and like polished it up, like you said, the making the action big and pretty. And the 1995 movie has really great action to it and like has the great suit. So like bring that all together and you have something special. People are going to completely not care that it's Power Rangers if it's badass. They're not going to. People never thought they were going to be a fan of Iron Man in a movie. He was a very B-list, C-list hero that nobody gave a lot of shits about. And then he knocked it out of the park in that movie and started the entire MCU. It can happen for Power Rangers if they get the right team to do it. So
exactly. And one thing I know people have been getting on Pookie for like, oh, you hate tokusatsu and stuff. But from what I interpreted from his tweet, it's not really that he hates tokusatsu. It's just a matter of like him saying, yeah, you know, if we want Power Rangers to actually work in the American market, we got to appeal it to their tastes. And I don't know if you guys heard of Nick News. He actually covered my article on one of his latest streams where he was talking about that as well. It was a video that I think was uploaded last night. I watched it this morning, but it was basically like the argument for if Power Rangers moves away from Sentai, like why that could help out.
That I agree with. I have no problem with the moving away from Sentai. I think the Toku elements will always really be there. They can never truly go away. But I think if Sentai, they can move away from it, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and then he was talking about in the video, like, you know, when you really think about it, like tokusatsu in Japan is big. They have no problem there. But in the US, you have God knows how much competition with Marvel, DC's upcoming stuff, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be able to compete. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you can keep the essence of tokusatsu. Like, for example, one of the essences of tokusatsu that I see a lot is like the roll calls.
Sure.
But like when you really think about it, Power Rangers really hasn't used them that much lately. Like maybe in Samurai because they had to like stretch out the footage. But
True.
in Beast Morphers, there wasn't like one time they used a roll call, and even in Dawn Brothers, like they don't do the roll call until like the last episode.
Yes.
Seriously,
It was
all
like
of
the
the Beast
opposite
Morphers Rangers
Zenkaiser with
did.
that. Yeah. No, for
Seriously,
sure.
all the Beast Morpher Rangers did was say "Unleash the Beast," and then
Yeah.
that's it. Like they never
Well-
really said like Beast Morpher Red. you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. They never said their ranger designation. Now that I think about it. That's a good point, Julio. And I think that's interesting too when you think about like MCU movies. Yeah, they're not, I guess, really, it depends on how people really define tokusatsu. But there's elements even in like MCU movies when you really think about it, in DC to an extent, they might not do a roll call like I'm Superman, but like they stand next to each other in a specific order. Or think about the scene in freaking Avengers that everyone knows, the first Avengers movie where the camera pans around all of them and slows down on each one to see who they are. You don't need to say their names, but it's kind of a roll call because you're getting an idea of who they are in the little circle. Like, the elements are there if you
it's
really want to
basically the
think
same
about it that
thing
way.
as them like actually saying roll call to like get ready for battle.
Sure.
That
Yeah,
makes it sound like a lot more subtly.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know that Dino Fury did do some roll calls. I can think of some episodes where they're fighting and they just say like, Dino Fury, Green Ranger, like like something like that. At least Dino Fury is continuing that trend. But you're right, Julio. In recent years, they really haven't been doing that all that much. So like, look, for me, I think one of the biggest reasons why the most recent Power Rangers movie kind of turned some people off is because of how unfamiliar it felt with the suits. I think they need to be very careful moving forward with Jonathan Entwistle's new reboot when it comes to the look of Power Rangers, because we all know Power Rangers to be these spandex colorful heroes jumping around kicking with special effects and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
If in order to make that work on a bigger screen with maybe like a bigger budget, you don't need to go crazy with the details and like the crazy like hyper realistic explosions and stuff like that. I feel like with the 2017 movie specifically, what caused the movie to kind of lack the Power Ranger-ness of it, leaving everything to like the last 20 minutes past the hour mark, is the budget. I feel like they put so much budget into the suits and like the Goldar fight, but then that didn't really leave so much to the creative storytelling that they could have told in those suits. It was so like, here's like the character development and
Because they
here's
almost
the
do
action.
with Billy. Like, Billy is the only one that gets it with his little thing where he's like the first one really to morph. And then that's
Right.
it, though. He's the only one that gets that little moment of his connectivity with his.
And that moment was
chosen.
so good.
Yes.
That moment was so good. And I
Yes.
wish they could have done something like that for like each Ranger. Maybe like something a little bit more unique, but something in that vein where they explore that with the character in the suit and like, their relationship to their powers. I mean, the whole movie is talking about their powers and stuff like that, but we don't really get to see it. That's something else, because besides like the Power Ranger fandom and like our niche community, people in the normal world, because we're not normal, people in the normal world are going to see this and they're going to think, this isn't what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And it's gonna seem a little odd to them, and they're not really gonna connect to it the same way that they did with the old MMPR season. So I think, in my opinion, something that they should really focus on the next time they try to produce a movie is to make sure that the costumes feel familiar, because not only will it become more recognizable for fans and normal viewers alike, but it'll also save on budget. And I feel with that budget cut, they could also include the suits more often. Maybe not just for like one fight scene in the end, and we're already done. Woohoo! Hooray! We won. That's what I'm hoping for the future.
And there's other tiny things. Like, I remember the moment where I saw the movie. Or no, I'm sorry. No, it was before I saw the movie. I was in a store, right? And I was looking. There's like merchandise and everything, and there was some stuff. And then I saw a toy of the Morpher that literally doesn't even exist in the film. Technically on their belly, I guess, sort of there. But
Not
like,
even.
it's not
Not
an
even.
item that they hold in their hand. And I found that really weird because it's like a decent, unique take on the Morpher, kind of. Like, the coins look cool and the way that you pull the little like lever thing. But we don't see it used in the film. And it made me very sad because I was like, oh, cool, they made something unique. and then you don't see it. I don't.
Power Rangers at its core exists to promote toys.
It was like the inverse of Dino Fury
So-
being like flip the Ryosol, but you can't flip the toy in real life.
In my mind, I feel they created that product because they wanted to sell the power coins. That was pretty prominent in the movie. Like they found
Yeah,
it in the mountain,
for sure.
and then like it gave them their powers. You know, some kid's gonna look at that and think, "Oh, I want to have that. I want to get strong too." But they can't just sell it alone because then it kind of get a little boring. Just holding a plastic transparent little coin, right?
wonder-
So they brought the Morpher along, but it would be nice to also see the Rangers use it too.
I also wonder if there was like some meddling, some studio meddling, and maybe there's a version of the film that's a little longer with a bit more to it. Maybe having the morphers in it, having them morph once before the final part of the movie, something like that. I just like it's not. It's sad because it isn't a bad film. I do not think at all it is a bad film, but like it's almost there, right? Like it's it's gonna get good. Oh, wait, whoa, we're done. No, stop. Oh, credits.
That's
Whoa.
why so many people say it deserves better.
You said it.
Because
It's that time
I
of the
said the
month
thing,
again.
guys. I said the thing. No, it deserved. I can't. I gotta keep my composure. It deserved better because, like you said, Zach, it was so close to being good, but they just missed the mark just a tiny little bit. And that's why people to this day always defend this movie, saying, "Oh, it could have been great if they did this, or if they included that. This would have been better." I want to make it clear to the fans, to chat, to Twitter. I don't hate 2017 Power Rangers, okay? I don't hate the movie. I find it funny when I'm on Twitter and I constantly see people talk about it. That's not me making fun of the people that like it. I'm not even saying that the movie is necessarily bad either. I'm just saying that people saying this over and over again is just humorous to me. But that's just me. Okay, I died in that one episode. I died in that one episode because it was funny. Okay, but I don't hate y'all. I love you. Okay, guys. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. But yes, so yeah, some really great ideas in order to, brain fart. A lot of great ideas to improve the movies that might be produced in the future. Tell me, what are some ideas that you have that you want to add to make these movies even better? Maybe we'll start
Actually,
with Mr.
if I
Cool.
could go back a bit on our previous topic,
Sure,
I think character development like even works for like the movies that we don't really consider like movies because they're not like theatrical, but stuff like Once and Always.
Yeah,
Like when I was
Dimensions
watching that
Unlimited.
scene of like Billy and Zach
that's not true.
trying to explain Trinity's death, where they're like, "How are we going to tell Min?" Or like, "Are we actually going to tell her?" I'm like, "Oh, this is actually like really mature." Like
Yes.
I'm in.
You're like stumbling over the
Mhm.
words of how to talk about death like a person does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grounded in reality.
Yeah, like by
These
the
kinds of
time
character
Once and
developments
Always
kick in.
ended, I was like, I actually wouldn't mind a Mighty Morphin season based on Once and Always because of all the character development. Because the
You
weird
want all
thing
the
is that I
cheesiness
love
too?
all the designs in Mighty Morphin, but it's just like sometimes sitting through those episodes,
It's a lot.
like if it's fun, like it's good, but it's like, oh my god, early season 1 especially, like when they would call the weapons like different things.
Yeah, they couldn't keep it straight. Yeah.
Continuity. I'm saying that's important. No, I absolutely agree with you, Julio. I do think that improving character development in these films would, make us feel a more personal connection with them.
And it would make people
And-
take it more seriously. Even
and would
though
make people want to buy toys.
I'm sorry, I just want to say this really quickly. If you don't watch Tokusatsu and chuckle to yourself to the point that you piss your pants over the ridiculous, goofy shit that we see in these ridiculous shows, I don't understand how you don't. The silly things that happen, the monsters, everything in Don Brothers, literally the entire series. Like,
Don Brothers, I can't believe Don
it's
Brothers
meant
happened.
to be silly. I'm gonna
It's
laugh
so
at it.
serious.
It's fine.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like these things are meant to be fun. They're meant to be taken lightheartedly. They're not really meant to be taken seriously. Power Rangers isn't that kind of brand where it's like, my grandma died. Like it's
He
no,
left me
the
his
civilian
Tyrannosaurus
is
coin with blood on
this-
it.
right. Like it's not like maybe the comics will like touch on something like that, but it for the shows at least, you're going to expect a cat turning into a toolbox, and that toolbox is possessed, and that possessed ghost is in a house that was once a fun house, and that fun house gets demolished. So then the remnants become a monster, and in order to save the world, the Power Rangers need to come together and form their ultra
Did you
mega
mean
super
Cocker
cool Zord.
Ranger?
Yes, no, but point is that it's unserious. You're not really meant to know what's going on. Yes, there is important logic there, but you're meant to just have a laugh. You're meant to lay back and have a good time. And most importantly, that's what Power Rangers should be in any sort of genre, whether it
Yes.
be comic books, TV shows, movies, whatever they decide to do in the future. We don't really know right now. Ever since we made that Power Rangers episode talking about the future of it, we really haven't gotten any more news. In all honesty,
But also, it's okay to not know.
And
Like-
plus, there's a whole like strike thing going on, so like that's
yeah,
Yeah.
gonna
that's
take a
it.
while.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not gonna be able to
So
promote a lot.
we can only
But
wait
hey.
and see.
What's your dream idea for a Power Rangers movie, Coolio?
I would say definitely like merging all three of those movies and putting them together. Just thinking about this right now, what a 2017 movie could have done actually is like have the Rangers suit up, but have them get like a proto armor and then save like the finalized suits for like the end, like they did. Because
Yeah.
even in, for
Like
a
example, if you
not
watch
fully
Sam Raimi's
materialized,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
like you have like the homemade suit, and then he goes ahead and he builds the new suit.
Wow, that's such a good idea.
Again, because then they could have done so much. Like they did a lot with Billy being the tech that he was in the new movie. Can you imagine a little scene where he gets to like the wonder he would have to work with Alpha on the technology, like he did in the show in the original Mighty Morphin? He eventually got to do that. A little scene where
Yeah.
he's like, "That's that's how that works, right?" And just him like messing with stuff. It'd be beautiful. It'd be awesome.
And even in other
man.
movies like Star Wars, for example, like Luke holds a lightsaber in New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but he's not like a full Jedi yet. But, like
Yeah.
him like messing up, getting his arm cut off, like it really shows like, oh yeah, he needs to go on a journey.
Right.
Absolutely. Wow. And I think back to Blue Beetle. I know it's still a pretty recent movie, so I'm not going to spoil really anything about it. But I'm just going to say that the Blue Beetle movie did a really, really good job with their characters. They made you feel like you knew them personally. Like if you went to a cookout with them recently and now you're seeing them on the big screen, that's how close it is. Or at least that's how it felt for me, being Dominican and all.
I'd agree.
But I'm saying that if they took that kind of like personal connection to a character with Power Rangers, it'll feel a lot, more connected,
And it would make the audience more easily accept things, accept goofy things, accept weird things, accept in unique designs, because you have the
Yes.
characters at the heart of it. So you're not going to care as much. You're
And
not going to like be
also-
bothered.
Yes, the hero's journey is also really important too. I love the idea of the Power Rangers like starting off with one suit and then getting something new, because that's essentially what Power Rangers does already with their upgrade forms, or like even with Red Ranger getting a battleizer. They do that already, but imagine something like that but in a film where the heroes start out with something maybe like they do start out with the spandex, and it's like, okay, obviously this isn't going to work for this kind of threat, so later on maybe they get something that is 2017 suit inspired, where it has more of like the bulky armor, but
yes.
it still makes it work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I'm getting like Ninjago vibes.
Right.
Am I the
Well,
only
you could
one?
even follow that up in a sequel, and then so you got like the armor, like you said, right? And then the sequel, some new enemy comes through because it's just a shonen. Everything's a shonen nowadays. And kicks their ass, breaks their armor, and they have to reformat. They go, hey, the spandex was powerful this way. This armor was powerful this way. What if we combine the two and they get a new armor that's a middle? It meets in the middle of the speed of the spandex and the power of the armor. There you
Man.
go.
Would you?
Red Ranger
okay, I
makes it
wanna-
a little different. He goes, "Whoa, we're gonna be in a battle. Was this a battleizer? Ha 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 ha! Make a reference."
Nah.
And actually,
that
you
was
bring up
good.
a
That
good
was
point
good.
with Ninjago, because Ninjago, what it does is that you have the same characters every season, but what they do is that they sort of upgrade their suits to fit whatever threat there is. Like, for example, in season 5, the reason they have all black armor with the highlights is because the armor is made of like a special stone that protects them from being possessed by the ghost that they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
See, I would
Gotta stay
love if Power
protected.
Rangers did something like that too. Okay, like if we look back to, well, we look back, more like look forward to comic. Can
You
I
got it.
can I get
You can do
words?
it. Make sense. And
Okay,
scene.
Cosmic Fury. Okay, great. You can see that these are the same Rangers, but they're getting a new suit. Imagine that in film. Like that'd be really cool. Hopefully the suits look a
Yeah,
little
and I
different,
mean,
but
we get hyped in
it's
the
up
MCU
to
movies. I keep bringing
opinion.
it back there, but that's where they want to be. It's where they want to be. I mean, like,
That's
yeah, the
what's
MCU movies
getting
now,
the money.
you know, but yeah, like we get that same way. Like the Iron Man armor in the first movie is great, but then when you see like in the second movie when he's at the racetrack and he suits up with the suitcase, whoa, what the, oh my god, like what are we doing right now? Oh, so cool. And it was unique, it was different, it was new. We were happy to see it. We didn't miss the old suits or give a shit about the old suit anymore because we have the new suit. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Man. What great ideas, guys.
yeah. Oh,
Hopefully,
I didn't
when
give
we
my
get a
idea. Hold
sequel.
on.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I do think your guys work for definitely something completely new. I do think that if it was something completely new, it needs to be something like that where it's, I think the 2017 movie could have been better, not deserved. I'm not gonna say it. Been better if it wouldn't have even had the MMPR designs at all and could have just had
Oh,
something completely unique to it that wasn't that. And it's not that I hate the
yeah.
MMPR designs. I'm not saying that, but I wanted to see what Hollywood could do, taking what they know of Power Ranger stuff, working with Saban at the time and blah, 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 and do something great with it and see what an actual Hollywood production could do, making a completely unique design. I mean, we've seen
Seriously.
Toku J's designs for the Cosmic Fury suits.
I
Those
would
are
Put him on the
love,
team.
like just hire Toku J.
I'm
exactly.
saying, like, there's so many
Because you
people that
have the
could,
element
like,
where it's like if these suits had to be made on a lower budget, they would still look all right. But like if you could make them on a higher budget, like it looked absolutely flawless.
Yes. So with that,
Mhm.
I want to say that I think that pretty much a majority of the seasons, if you're going to do like a smaller scale thing, not like a full movie like in theaters, but like a more special type thing like Once and Always, pretty much all of the seasons, barring a few, you know who they are, deserve a Once and Always. A Dino Thunder Once and Always to see what they're up to and just in
I'm
general
sad.
see where the characters are at with things. It will be tough because of JDF. I get that, but it will be great. Anything, all of them in space Once and Always, Lost Galaxy, like just to see a little bit farther in their timeline where they're at, what they're doing, what they're up to, whatever. If you're going to do something new, exactly what you guys said, and just continue to like keep like extrapolating, continue to like improve until you're making something that's completely unique in every way that feels like Power Rangers but is your own take on it, because that's truly, I think, what a good chunk of fans would want to see, is to
I think that's
see
what the producers want.
exactly, like we always have this safety net of like, oh well, this one's based off my favorite Sentai, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's great, but what if it wasn't and we could do something with it? I get it that the Cosmic Fury suits aren't everybody's cup of tea, but at least they tried to do something that wasn't the Rhea Soldier suits, except for the helmets. I will not ever forgive them for that. You could have done a lot more with the helmets, make them different. Anyway, but same thing. Like, just you don't have to have that safety net there. It's okay. That's all right. Let's try something new.
Experiment a bit. That's what they're doing with Cosmic Fury. And even though this is technically the last season for the current continuity, I mean, I'm sure the new reboot of Power Rangers will take a lot of inspiration from what it used to be. And Cosmic Fury being the most recent, hopefully they take what, Hasbro is experimenting with right now with Simon Bennett and all that. They could create something even more unique and work off of what worked and what didn't. So,
And
that's
if
what we see.
anything, what I think they could do is like, that the Morphin Master suits were actually made by Toei. So if
Yes.
anything, it's just like, like work with Toei for like a design that actually appeals to them, to the American market, and like have it there. And you still have that influence while balancing out like actually wanting to be more cinematic.
Or
It's like the
Absolutely.
same thing. I think this was on Ranger Command Power Hour where Jason Biscoff was talking about how Hasbro actually had some input on Rue Soldier and even Kira Major. As far as anything after that, I'm not sure. But like there was this one really interesting comment where it's like, that's probably what they're doing, where it's like, hey, like I'll give you some ideas and you give me some ideas, and then that way we can
Right.
both succeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When we see that carry over all the time, like the idea of a battleizer eventually inspired Sentai to do it. When do you even remember the last season to not have the Red Ranger have some kind of power up in Sentai? Like it's been a while that they've not had it happen, right? And other things too. I mean, also Power Rangers needs to like whoever takes it over, if it's still Hasbro or whoever, look back at itself. Look back at Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury did the Jungle Masters, for Bat and Elephant and Shark. Those are completely original suits. They were not in any way in the Sentai. Their characters were kind of in animal form, but those Rangers didn't exist. And those are beautiful suits that not only fit with the Geki Ranger suits, but are also beautiful on their own. Lightspeed Rescue Titanium Ranger, an awesome suit.
And there's even another example. Because I actually bought this figure recently, one of the Paleo Max Rangers from RPM.
Yeah. RPM.
Where I always really love these suits because not just that they fit the whole aesthetic, but like I especially like how they had like some unique stuff, like the whole sash here.
Yeah, like a jacket. Yeah. Ooh.
Did Toy like help design that as well?
That was Bandai actually.
Okay.
Bandai's department with Plex, but obviously, like with Bandai, there's gonna be some bad blood because it's like you kind of took our toys. So, like, the next best thing is Toei. And with the Morphin Masters, I think like they've proven that they can do some designs.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, they gotta keep. I like the fact that Hasbro helps Toy because Hasbro has come up with some ideas that Toei could benefit from with their shows, and then vice versa. Like, Hasbro knows what works for the Western market, so Toei is going to give them some aspects of their property or some things that are inspired by it, and then help Hasbro figure out how they could use it for their shows as well. It's like that cooperative effort that makes these shows what they are, and we love these shows. We want to see more kind of shows like this with this suit and the characters and stuff like that. That's why I'm looking forward to Cosmic Fury. I just don't want to get my hopes up. I don't know. That's just me, though. I'm just going to wait and see. We got to wait and see. All right. Well, that was the movie discussion of the episode. I am really looking forward to...
if I could add one more point that I actually had here in my notes.
Yeah, of course.
I think one thing that has worked consistently on every movie is the villains having high stakes. Like, for example, you have Ivan who's enslaving all the parents, creating machines, and then basically telling them to off themselves.
Yes.
And then Malagor, who's like this giant lava monster, who's like one of the most powerful evil beings. And even Rita, where like she goes on killing spree for gold. She even kills one of the Rangers like at one point. And then she makes Golar. And even for the stuff we don't consider like as cinematic movies, like for example, General Gut in Clash of the Red Rangers, where you had like that giant army, or Robo Rita, where she literally kills a ranger, and there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
Having high stake
villains. So I think like they need to keep that aspect as well. That's something I think like they're gonna get down pat pretty easily, but like it's still something that like needs to be at the forefront. Have a villain who's like really threatening.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm learning about in college right now is, making sure that a character has an obstacle, in order to make the story interesting. And the more difficult that obstacle, the more interesting the story. So going back to that villain thing, like if they have a huge threat, they don't know how to solve at first, and then like we were mentioning before, it's going to take a few different suits or weapons to get through to them, then, that's what's going to make the story more engaging to watch, because there's more to, soak in. If it was a normal monster of the week, we're not really going to bat an eye because we already know that they're going to get taken care of. But at least with a more threatening villain, it's like, it's up in the air. Are they going to survive? Is this going to not happen? I mean, hey, even look at something as recent as Across the Spider-Verse. Right. I mean, I'm sorry if you haven't seen it by now, but it's a two-parter. It's a two-part movie. They left it on a cliffhanger, and that's how you know that the story is juicy, because they had to leave everything as far as like the villains go for a whole other movie. Imagine if Power Rangers did something like that. I mean, like, not likely, but it goes back to your point that like the more threatening the villain, the more interesting the story can be.
Yeah, and I point to things like in a Dino Charge with Sledge. Like Sledge at first is like a joke, honestly. I will say that at first, but like he kind of becomes a threat because he just all of a sudden comes back into it and wipes out the rest of the villains that were there in his place, and he just gets
Yeah.
to be primary villain again at the end. We don't get that a lot in Power Rangers. It's been a long time since we've been like, oh, an actual threat who cares and just wants to destroy for the sake of it because he wants to kill things. You know what I mean? So like, and not let alone his design, which I will always gush about Sledge's design because it's a super, super unique American-made villain design that we don't get a lot in Power Rangers. That isn't just like a mishmash of things together from Tokuger.
Or something different from like another season. Into this
Exactly. Another unadapted season that they just Frankenstein in there. So do something like that. Don't be afraid. That's the thing too, is whoever were to take over and want to do a movie, don't be afraid. Change things, do things differently, and keep that flavor there. The, like you said, the flashy suits, the Zord fights need to be a part of it. A transformation of some kind with some awesome looking effects and a little touch of the cheesiness, like in the 2017 movie. That whole scene where they're running from the quarry or whatever, and they go past that van of the fucking nuns or whatever that was. That whole ridiculous scene, like it was so stupid, but it was like, Power Rangers, you know, and you just move on with your life.
Power Rangers humor, yeah.
You know, there's a way to do it. It can be done.
Yeah, I think the whole thing of like, don't be afraid to change things really applies because, for example, people are like, oh, The Last Jedi was bad because they changed things. I don't think exactly that was the reason. I think it was just like a badly written movie. It did not have all the explanation it needed. But like, if it, and plus on the fact that it was in the middle of a trilogy, but if it would have been like the beginning or the end, I think it would have been a masterpiece.
Yeah. And it was a trilogy that they thought they were going to have one director for all three movies, and then he dropped out for no reason, for not seemingly no reason, and came back into it, and then retconned everything that happened in that middle movie.
Actually, I think the plan was always like 3 different directors for 7, 8, and 9, because the guy from Jurassic World was on 9, Rian Johnson was always on 8, and then J.J. Abrams was on 7.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like either have like a through line, like basically a list of like, okay, here's what every movie needs to touch on. Or have, like, for example, J.J. Abrams direct the whole trilogy.
Exactly. Yeah. Continuity.
Continuity. Hello. Now, any more thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
I'm actually seeing a comment from Toku Aaron. Where
I was just about to bring up his comment right now. I just wanted to make sure that nobody else had anything more to add. Yeah, Toku Aaron over here is giving us a very interesting idea. He says possible nightmare fuel, but what if the lips on the helmet move? Still silver, but like mouth moves and helmets are emotive.
Okay. First off, Aaron, Aaron, however you say it, I just want you to understand this. Stop putting nightmare images in my brain. I hate with a fiery passion lips on the helmets. I always have. It's weird and silly and makes me uncomfortable to look at them all the time. Don't do this. But also, if you're gonna make a goofy like horror take on it, then maybe. But
a horror Power Ranger seasons?
What?
A horror Power Ranger season? Could you imagine? I mean, like. Some monsters are pretty scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there are goofy scary, and then there's like, oh, I'm not sleeping at night.
There's like this one monster from Shinkenger that they never adapted, where it's like he would hit the Rangers with a beam. I think he hit like only the guys, but it's like they would get like these guys in red spandex just like clinging to them. It was like absolute nightmare fuel.
Yeah, Shinkenger was a weird season, but yeah.
No, absolutely. Also, he is also bringing up how biggest fail of 2017 was botching the Morpher. That's what you were talking about, Zach. And yeah, while we're here, we might as well also talk about Megan for a quick sec. She says, hey guys, how's it going? A few days back, I started my second Ultraman series alongside Blazer. Ultra 7 at 5 episodes in. I'm loving it so far. It's cheesy, but the good kind of cheese.
Ultraman is a delicious block of cheese. I will say that. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I barely have any experience with Ultraman, but I've been meaning to like watch some of them, like especially Ultra 7. I just find the glasses on him like really adorable.
Yes.
Like I watched the anime And then I thought that is like the coolest thing where like he just goes like this and then he transforms.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Are we ready for this B topic?
I recommend watching
Yeah.
Samurai Man. I started it. I like it. Yeah, so the second topic, we're going to be reviewing some weapons that we think is definitely not cracking top 3. Is what we'll say. It's either chosen because it just looks bad, or the functionality or the way that it's used just doesn't work either. So, Julio, why don't you go first? I got your pictures ready. I can do it for you.
All right. So my first choice when thinking about this, and this is going to be controversial because it's actually quite new, is the Got Charge gun from Kamen Rider Gotchard.
Oh man, when you sent me that message, I was like, oh, he getting something fresh from the oven to be critiquing. What's the reason for it, Julio?
Yeah, it's not necessarily that I think it's a bad weapon. If anything, like I love how it follows the Gotchard arrow aesthetic.
Yeah,
But it really just looks like really goofy. Like it's so bad, it's hilarious.
that is true.
And like
And
you can see
toy.
the card here, it's trying to be like the DN driver, but just like a lot more. You know how people have been saying that Gotchard looks like it can air on Nick Jr.? This looks like the Nick Jr. version of the DN driver.
my God, I see it. And something that's really funny to me with this weapon is the way that like it shoots the cards forward. It's so clunky. It doesn't even really go into the little pocket down here below properly. It just kind of just gets stuck here or like down here. And then, you just have to pretend like it's shot forward. I mean, it's still a fun toy. It's probably really satisfying to most people when the cards shoot forward, but the fact that it never really like properly stores down here is just funny to me. I do appreciate you bringing this up for one of your weapons. All right, well, number 2.
My second choice was something where when you told me about like weapons that are ugly or just silly, I'm not sure if this counts as a weapon, but more as a morpher. But like I was still like, it's still something that they use very often. And that would be the Shogun buckle from Power Ranger Samurai. Like, I love the Mega modes and the Shogun modes, but this was just a bit too much.
It's so interesting because this is an American like morpher weapon thing. It's so interesting that they went with this design. I wonder what inspired them to do it. I mean, besides Shoguns.
Like I get it's supposed to look like a Japanese samurai head, but I don't know, it just looks weird. It reminds me of how in my grandparents' house, I think they still have it actually. It's this decoration of literally just Santa's head and it speaks and you hang it on the wall. And it was so creepy. And it looks
that sounds like a monster you'd see in Sentai. Holy shit.
A floating Santa head. That's our Christmas special for next year, guys. No, I actually really agree, especially since this guy kind of does look like Santa with his white beard and the red face. It's giving ho ho ho, and the green eyes as well. Oh my God. No, yeah, I can definitely see the parallels there.
Like the kanji that they have in the little red button, I feel like if they would have replaced the face with that, I think it would have been a lot better. But it's just weird, like having a face on your crotch.
Seriously, it's like, who even is this guy? I feel like if this looks heavily inspired by like the faces a Megazord would have. How cool would it have been if like the Megazord's face was this face instead? Like, would you like this a little better, Julio, if that was the case?
I think it would fit, but I'd still find it like kind of weird. Like just the idea of having a face on the belt.
Yeah,
it's just like kind of awkward.
It's a little strange. It's a little strange. It also kind of reminds me of the belt from Wizard. The Beast, Kamen Rider Beast, is that what his name is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way that his
Well, like Mr. Beast, because he was a goofy goober, so like it was fine. But Samurai and Shinkenger were trying to be like super serious samurai, and then it's like, ha ha ha, face on your
just like
crotch.
that. Super serious samurai. Yeah, exactly like that, man. All right, well, number 3.
This one I actually did not know existed before going over the weapons,
Oh my
but
god.
I just started bursting out laughing when I first saw this. And
Oh
it's the
man.
Ongeki Triangle from Kamen Rider Hibiki. I don't know if you remember that
Yo.
one episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy begins a whole triangle career. It's basically like a parody of Michael Jackson.
Oh
Yes.
my god, that's. I think I remember that. It's been forever since I've seen Fairly Odd Parents. I'll be honest with you.
There
Yeah,
is
that's
many
literally the
things
first
in
thing
Hibiki
I
that
thought
fall
of.
into this. Oh my god.
Where
And
it's
like, there's
I
a
get
couple
all
photos.
the writers in Hibiki are like music themed, but
Yeah.
why a triangle? Like, what exactly are you going to do with a triangle?
That's true. Of all,
Like the drumsticks,
of
at least you
all,
can beat someone with it, but
Right. And it
the
doesn't like
triangle.
it doesn't get to have the excuse of like, oh no, it fits with the like instrument theme there. No, because there's literally like a straight guitar man. It's not like they're doing all like old instruments. No, they're straight. I do this like with electricity and shit. So like, why triangle?
it also like unravels to become this like nunchuck kind of thing, and I don't even know. I don't know.
could've
You
made it
guys
a
bring up a good
flute.
point.
You
Why
could have made it a
triangle?
flute.
Yeah, like
Something
if
like that.
you unwrap it into a nunchuck, then why even use the triangle at that point? Just use the nunchuck.
Super dumb. Super dumb. I like how you brought this up. I didn't even know it existed either until you told us. So
Learn something new every day.
the more you know, huh?
Ah.
Yes. All right. Well, that was a good top 3. Zach, you want to go next?
Yeah, I messaged in the our DM on Twitter some pictures right now because I remembered what mine were, and then I got the images as you guys were talking for just a minute, but I was paying attention. Don't worry.
Oh boy. Okay. I got them ready for you. Let me know.
I want to start off with the Gosei Morpher for the love of God. Okay.
Okay. Let me pull it up.
Mhm.
Keep talking.
All right. I have many problems with Megaforce and Super Megaforce, as many people do. And I'm not here to beat a dead horse or the corpse or spot where there was one. What in the hell are we doing with this? And like, it works in
Faces, man.
okay? Because Ghost Ager is Ghost Ager. They're fucking angels, right? So like they can have whatever the hell they want for their Morpher. It doesn't really matter. But in Megaforce, they're literally teenagers in high school pulling a giant tiki hat out like, hey, Gosei, hey, where do we have to go to fight these monsters? And nobody saw that. Nobody saw the giant tiki head and their stupid back. And like at least in Mighty Morphin, you can conceal it, right? I have that right here. Look at that. Here it is.
God.
So like pretty big when you see it up close, but like, hey, I can just be like, well, and put up my belt or like hold it like this, and you can't. I don't talk to it, right? Because it's just the Morpher. But like, it's so stupidly big, and then look at how stupid his face looks for the card, and then like Gosei is like this like nothingness character mentor already, but it's like
Rangers.
it feels like he's like, make sure my branding of my face is on everything, even the Morpher.
I think Gosei himself just really had like a lot of narcissism issues.
Yes!
When you really think about it, the Morpher, all the Megazords being called Gosei.
All of them are named after him. One of them's called Gosei Great.
He's great, guys. Get it? Gosei great. Who even is Gosei? Where did he come from?
Oh my god, I hate it. Oh,
Did the show ever get into that?
Huh?
Did the show ever even get into that where Gosei is even from?
They literally just mentioned 1 second. Oh yeah, I was a student of Zordon, and I never touched on that.
A student of Zordon? What does that even mean? How does that work? How is he a tiki head now? Like it doesn't. Nothing with that makes sense.
When were you a student of Zordon?
I have used
your large head
better
and he was
communicate
too?
with humans. I see that thing talking to me. I'm running.
Yeah.
No, seriously. In what way is this better?
I don't understand how they were able to. It only would work in Power Rangers in the show, because if you were to try to do anything like that, that situation happens in real life. You're not gonna hide his stupid dumb face. You can't, and you have to talk into it too. Get out of my life! No way.
It's a phone somehow.
Not gonna happen. Oh my god.
Oh
okay.
my god.
And then I'm trying to think of the other ones I had. Pull up the fishing rod. Yes.
Okay. Just give me a second. I got like 80 things open.
Yeah, and in Ghost Recon, at least you had the excuse for like, oh, the head was like representing their god.
Exactly. Because he had like a story to him, and he was like a thing. Listen, all right. Listen up, okay? I appreciate to the ends of the earth my sad, depressed man, Magoo Ranger, Zeo the World. All right, I love him. I like when he's done with a fight and he's just sitting there sad, and like they talked about it in Zenkaiger when he uses the gear. It happens to Zox as well.
Yes.
Man, they didn't have to like so quickly make him not a badass. I get it's like a trope with Six Rangers where they start off a badass, but he like straight pulls out a fucking fishing rod. Man, come on. There was no other thing. You could have done
Downgrade. What even is his relationship with this? Because I haven't watched
nothing. He likes to fish. That's it.
I guess
Yeah,
it's the same logic as like
He
the.
doesn't have like an aquatic animal. Like you say, oh, he has like an aquatic animal. Like that makes sense.
I guess the crocodile thing, because he's like 3 humans in one, but they're not fully
Do you
aquatic.
fish crocodiles?
I always go fishing for crocodiles.
Chat,
all the time.
chat, could you help me answer this question? Do we fish crocodiles? Does that make sense? It's given the same logic as like Star Ninja having a burger for a phone. What is the reason for it besides just it's gonna be a funny toy?
That worked because he was a cowboy. Damn it! I will defend.
Hey, Chad, does burgers have
the
anything to do
Morpher
with
for
cowboys?
Western cowboy Magoo from America, Yokai Hunter. I love him. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I mean,
I'm
technically, Star
not
Ninja's
seeing
whole
some
thing
names.
was he was an American stereotype, not
That
just a
that
cowboy.
makes more sense. I was gonna mention how it's not because he's a cowboy. It's because he's American.
Yes,
Okay, that's the reason.
but yeah, this fishing rod is stupid, and I hate lay off the burger.
Sorry, I pinched a nerve, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to get on people's bad
And
side.
hey, that's great. We talked about Ninja because now I get to talk about another wet fart of a season in Power Rangers, which is Ninja Steel.
He said
Bring up that
wet
next
fart.
one.
Here
we
we
go.
go. It's gonna take me a second.
This
Introduce it.
fucking thing, I want it understood that chainsaw swords are super cool. We just had Buffa and Geets, right? But that makes sense. Chainsaw, zombies, what is it called? Evil Dead. You get it, right? It makes sense. What in the hell does a chainsaw sword have anything to do, any business being in a ninja season? As if it wasn't enough that it was like, my dad was the greatest ninja in the world. Shut your mouth. No, he was not. The Wind Ninja Academy and the Thunder Ninja Academy would like to talk to you. And Ninjor.
Tell him.
Anyway.
Tell him.
Then they have to farther away from being a ninja to the level of almost like beginning of Naruto where he's screaming at you. He's a ninja in an orange jumpsuit with a chainsaw sword. Excuse me. They couldn't like make it look more like a katana or anything else that would be like something that a ninja would use. They wouldn't use a chainsaw. It's stupid. And they try to make it cool. They're always like revving it and they only use it in the cockpit for their fucking like final attack dumb thing. They couldn't be cool like Samurai, right? Where Samurai did like the Shogun form outside the cockpit, right? Remember? That was cool. No, they never take the chainsaw sword out of... I would have forgiven it if they would have went out of the cockpit, but they don't.
Oh, Zach.
I feel like if Hasbro would have made Dino Charge or Ninja Steel, they probably would have used the cockpit modes like outside
Yes,
of the
I
actual
think so.
cockpits.
And I love the Dino Charge and Supercharged suit things. That they would have been cool fighting outside the cockpit, but they don't do it. I can't stand this. It's so dumb.
Zach, you have this streak of spoiling my list because I was about to talk about a cockpit weapon myself, but no, absolutely.
I didn't talk about the exact one, did I?
No, but like I'll say that you transitioned into my list. How
Okay,
about
cool.
that?
See?
I'll mention it for my first one.
We're connected. We're co-hosts.
We're like on the same wavelength. Seriously.
Yeah, and here's the thing I want to know. How did this get past toy safety standards? Because we didn't get the Spiral Saber because apparently it was like, oh, too dangerous because of how it spins. I've literally put my hand on the blades of that while it's spinning because I have it. And even though it's plastic, it hurts.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I like how we can't have like knuckle changers from Geki Ranger, but we can have chainsaw that hurts the children. Okay, cool, fine.
Make it make sense.
The rules don't matter. All right, Frankie.
Continuity, consistency. It's the theme of the episode. So for my top three, I actually got something from Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider, respectively. So
Ooh,
since you
nice.
already brought up the cockpit weapon, I might as well start
I
out with
couldn't
this
find a
one.
lot to hate in Rider. I'm gonna be sad with your choice, maybe. I don't know, but go ahead. You're good. What's this?
We'll
Oh,
get there. But my first one, maybe a little bit of a hot take. I'm not gonna
I mean,
lie.
I get it. I get
Some
it.
people really like this one.
Cheetah
I'm
Blaster.
talking about the Cheetah Beast Blaster from Beast Morphers, right? The only reason why this is on my list is not because of the design. No. Don't get it twisted. The design for the Cheetah Beast Blaster actually looks pretty good. And I really like the way that they translated it into a Nerf gun, unlike the Gold Morpher. But we're going to talk about that another day. I feel like the Nerf gun idea was kind of first, and that's why they created the Cheetah Beast Blaster, not the other way around, so that's why it works so well. But even in show, it looks pretty cool. And it's one of Nate's inventions, so it's like, it's integrated into the story well. The reason why it's on this list, though, is because Devin, the Red Ranger, uses a gun to slash.
To slash a sword. Yes, sir.
He uses a
Yes,
gun,
sir.
and he gets this whole special Squidward little, I'm not even going to like try to replicate that, helmet.
Yeah.
To point and
Basically
shoot.
a super scope.
Yeah.
Right. To point and shoot
Anyhow,
at what, his wall?
I hate my chainsaw sword I just talked about, but at least they used it to slash a sword to fight their enemies.
Right. Devin using his what's it called? Like battle mode. What's the cheetah
Little visor, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
I think
his-
I don't think it actually had a name in the show.
No, it
was
just
just
happened.
a Squidward helmet.
Yeah.
No,
the
I
Squidward
mean like the
helmet.
Zord he piloted. What's the name again?
Beast Racer Zord.
Yeah, it's the Beast X Racer Zord. Battle mode, yeah. He always has a sword. Never does this man have a gun. Ever. So the fact that they chose to give Devin a gun to shoot in the cockpit, which I imagine isn't actually shooting anything when the sword is always going to be the one doing the attack, is kind of pointless to me. And it continues that dumb trend of like having a ranger use a specific cockpit suit or cockpit weapon, and it doesn't even do anything at all. And this Dino Fury continues this trend too, but at least it was a sword that time.
Also, looking at the second form of it over here as a gun, take his little legs and move him backwards a little bit. You could just have him be a fucking sword. You could easily make the cheetah into a sword. Take the leg and move it backwards so it's straight back, and make it be a sword handle. There's a way to make this thing not be a gun and be a sword and still slash the sword and then be fine.
Yeah,
in all honesty,
here. Like, I could see what he's going for.
He said he's cooking here. Zach is cooking. There is a sword, but like, that's inspired by the lion. I don't hate the fact that it's a gun or a blaster, whatever they call it, right? I just want it to actually make sense with the weapon that the Zord is using. I want the weapon to be a gun.
All right, I want you to hurt me with your rider thing. Come on, I want to see what you got. What are you mad about?
I'll leave that for
Actually,
last now.
Speaking about the Beast Morpher's sword, I almost put that on the list. Like, I like the design, but it's just the way it spins. Like, I get that the concept is unique. It's supposed to be sort of like a chain thing, but just the way that sometimes the Rangers fly with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, at least in Star Wars Rebels, when you had the helicopter lightsabers, like, at least you had both ends. This was just like, it's just one end. How can you feasibly fly with it?
It doesn't make sense. There's
a perfectly good explanation for that.
So that was my Power Ranger entry. Now we're going to go on to Super Sentai.
Oh, no.
The anticipation.
Okay. Here it is. I like Lupat. I do. But this weapon...
Is this one of the personal weapons for one of the Rangers or one of the little attachment weapon things or something?
This is one of the... Like, for the Pat Rangers, this is their main, like, weapon from, like, their belt. I'm trying to get their...
like a baton megaphone? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it's exactly what that is.
Okay.
It's a baton that's also and I have the toy photo here. So obviously, like, it looks a little bit more stumpy than what it would in the show. Like, this would be longer, but I think you get the idea. Like, it's really not that impressive, really. What honestly, to me, it feels like it's kind of cheating off of what I mean, Hurricane Blue, her weapon with like the
Yeah,
megaphone. I feel like they were trying to do something like that again, but trying to make it, work for a cop. It fell flat.
yeah,
It fell flat.
yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
and
And
I can respect the design of like, hey, cops use batons sometimes, and they also use like megaphones to like like or like a microphone on their cop car to like, hey, citizen, move out of the way, or pull over, blah blah blah. But combining them like that, I don't. What am I? I don't know what to do with it. That I shouldn't. That shouldn't be the first thing that I say when I see the weapon. Is that I don't know what to do with it.
the Pat Megabo is the name of this little guy right
Of
here,
course,
and
yeah.
it is what it is. Like, I will give it that. It's a megaphone. It's a baton. We did it, guys. We did it.
Yeah, talking about the
That-
whole Ninja Storm Blue thing, I think this would have worked better if it was like a blaster that uses like sound frequencies.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
not be
because
a
they only really
baton
ever
at all.
use it as just like a normal megaphone. They don't ever really have like a sound wave attack like Hurricane Blue, right?
Yeah, like they
I
mostly
could
use
be
it as a
wrong.
sword, and then the only thing they use with the actual megaphone part is like, "Hey, you're under arrest," and it's like you're telling them to a
Okay.
bunch of foot soldiers who like aren't gonna understand you, and
They
they're
don't
gonna
even have
move
ears,
on
I
anyway.
believe. Yeah, like, it just feels useless. Like, they try to give them a baton weapon and then thought adding a megaphone would make it more interesting. It didn't. Okay, I'm a little bored, but whatever. We get cooler weapons later on in the season. All right, Zach.
Oh no.
The next one. Okay, this is actually going to be a little bit of a hot one. Okay, I will admit. This was
When I
hard.
get canceled.
No, don't say that. Okay, I tried my best. I tried my best. Everyone just clicks off it like they don't even want to see it.
God, throw it
Okay,
away.
I'm just gonna pull it up.
Let's do it. Don't introduce it. Okay.
Right? Okay. The reason why this might be a hot one is because 01, it's a good season, but most people like it for like the suits and the weapons that they have, and people find this sword to be iconic. Am I one of those people? No. I don't really like the sword at all. The attached caliber. You're one of those people?
No, I said I was imitating what you said. You said, "Am I one of those people?" Nope.
No, I'm not. The what's it called? I can't even remember the name. The attached caliber is what's on the bottom over here. This is what this guy is. And
Is that the problem for you? Is it the stupid combination of that and the thing from?
I'm gonna get there. Just give me a second. I'm just saying that this guy going from a suitcase to a sword, it's a cool concept, but it wasn't really well executed in my opinion. I feel like this is just really bulky. Like, it just looks so thick. It's thick and big, and it's just not fun. It's not fun. It's a little boring. And it only really gets weird when you combine it with this guy up here. To get the name, it's the Progrise Hopper Blade. The Progrise Hopper Blade in the story is pretty interesting because, well, if you don't know,
It's what
No.
calms down the berserk form.
yes, but what's the Berserk's form name?
Metal Cluster Hopper.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. When I
It's
shine,
high
darkness
quality.
fades. Thank you. It's high quality.
That's God damn it, the Microsoft Sam ass voice on that shit. I love it so much.
I love that too. And then story wise, like, this is cool because this is what calms down the berserker form, like you said. But when it's combined with the caliber, it doesn't look good. Let's be fair. It doesn't look good at all. And I like this more than the caliber, but it's also not really my favorite either. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry.
I think it would be
That's
cool,
the hot take.
the Progrise Hopper Blade, if when it calmed him down, it had an attached sword thing where it flipped out another side. and it looks similar to this. I think my
like
problem, and maybe
mirrored.
probably yours, is that they're two weirdly, completely different design philosophies here with how they look. Like this, the hopper blade doesn't even look like it comes from 01. Like it is really, really wildly different from the other
Right. When
sword.
the weapons look like this in 01, it's like a whole other like season when something like this exists.
Yeah,
You know
like
what
that.
I mean?
Honestly, more like a saber thing. You know, like
A little
like
bit,
it,
yeah.
yeah, like it looks crystally. Where and like I like it. I think the Progress Hopper Blade's super cool. It's got some cool things to it. It's got like Progress key things to it, you know, because it's got like the little arrow there and the hopper and stuff. And I think the attached sword on its own is a cool idea. You know, flip out your freaking briefcase and you got a goddamn sword ready to stab somebody. Same thing with the shotgun for Fua, where it folds out and it's a shotgun. Like that's super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it. Them
I think
together
the
is just
bow
like
that
let's
Kurobi
just
uses
stick 'em
is
on.
actually the best one.
What is
Yeah,
it?
like out of all of them, the bow that Horobi uses,
Yeah,
like, you know, like continuing the theme, like, oh, like, are all of them suitcases?
Yeah,
Am I
Pretty
wrong or am I
yeah.
right? Yeah,
They're
they're all
supposed to be.
suitcases, right?
They're not folded up a whole lot, but yeah.
They're not even suitcases. Guys, please, like, why do they exist that way? They can't even open. Whatever. Yeah, you're right, Julio. Horobi's bow, out of like the gun and the caliber, the bow is cooler in my opinion. So yeah, that is my 3. Any more comments, cares, concerns?
God, I hate Gosei.
Lovely. Yes. Perfect. Oh, we also have a Toku Aaron over here saying
The
scream
scream
foam
gun.
for that weapon that I brought up.
I'm gonna keep that.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on that little. We're gonna keep pecking away at like reiterating on that name there for our horror-based idea for a Sentai. I'm just saying our Power Ranger season because
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Zach, do you want to share the helmet commission that you got recently?
ooh, I guess I could. Here, let me.
Since we're
I'll
talking
send
about
it to
original
you.
characters and seasons.
Yeah.
No, I think I can pull it up from the group chat that you already sent.
If
Tell
it's too
them
far back, I
about
can
it.
just send you a picture of it. I'm about to frame this shit, honestly. So
I got it now. I got it right now.
you got it. Cool.
Look at this guy.
Oh
nice.
no! Oh my
So
gosh!
good.
So clearly, Frank and I are huge fans of Gates. Gates did this whole thing where it's like you can easily, plug in an OC rider, right? So this is my rider, Kamen Rider Uchikadile, crocodile themed. And he recommended an awesome artist. Shout out M4 Mighty.
M4 Mighty.
Yes. And I literally sent him a photo. This is all I sent for a reference. The photo of my custom ID core here. If it'll focus there, I don't know if it'll kind of. There we go.
We can
Yeah,
see it.
there
We
we go.
can see it.
That's all I sent him, a close-up picture of that. And he was like, all right, cool, I can do it. I'm like, really? And it was like a day later he was done. I was like, whoa, 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 really?
The
And
man
it
is
was like color.
talented.
And then the vector art, and it
Seriously.
was like, it's real. Oh my God. And I love it so much. It's so
Suit
cool.
next. Suit next.
What'd you say? Make a patch?
It-
Yeah, I might make it a patch. I don't. Budget-wise, making it a real physical helmet would be very extensive, but perhaps a patch. Perhaps a patch. I have thought about it.
I think a patch would be pretty cool, but I was actually asking if you were going to commission a suit next.
Maybe I want to figure out, like, I have an idea for the raise buckles for him because I had like original idea raise buckles for him. I had this like water-based one called the splashdown buckle that would kind of be like similar to like basically Blastoise's cannons, water cannons, but like on his arms.
Ooh.
And then I'm trying to think. I want to say that I combined that with like some kind of an electricity type buckle or something like that.
See, now that's a good weapon, not what the B topic is. That's the best weapon.
It's somewhere in my notes somewhere. But yeah, so I think I might like get those done first and then pull all the parts kind of together. But yeah, it's kind of exciting to have like the helmet for my OC rider existing. It's cool to
It
be able to
looks
look at it and be like, hey,
amazing.
it's a thing.
Seriously. And, Geats as a season didn't actually give us the physical suit for any Shark Ranger. So, Ranger.
Crocodile.
Canceled. Oh, no. But, Ryder. So, it's cool that M4 came up with this original concept for you. And it looks good.
It does.
Frick. Looks
I'm
freaking
quite
good.
impressed.
Yeah. What a fun way to end off the episode. Julio. Cool. Julio. Coolio Julio, thank you so much for joining today's podcast, man. I am super thankful that you joined us and took the time out of your day to talk with us about movies and weapons. It is always an honor to talk with guests like you. So just thank you. Thank you for joining us. We
And
really
thank
do
you for
appreciate
having me. It really was a lot of fun to come on.
Of course. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
Is there,
we're honored to
is
have you
there
on,
anything you want to
absolutely.
plug?
Well, I think the one thing is I know I've been out of the video scene for a while because of like a bunch of stuff, but like stuff's coming.
Good.
I can't say what specifically because like I feel like it's some ideas are like really out there.
But he's coming back. So stay
Yeah.
tuned. It's all going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Already linked in the description, so you better go ahead and check it out. Okay? And you're gonna be active on Twitter too.
Yeah. I'm active
so there you
on
go.
Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome.
There you go. So go ahead and find those links down below, and make sure to go ahead and follow your boy. All right? Thank you. And while you're there, why don't you go ahead and check out Zach and I, personal Instagram, personal Twitter, and all that good stuff. If you like what you see and you want to see more or hear more, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Really close to 200. We've been getting more. Really close. So, help out. We also would appreciate it if you liked, any support that you decide to give us, we will always appreciate, And if you want to be on the podcast, if you want to give us a topic, you can go ahead and comment down below or tweet at us on our Henches and Homies Twitter account or our individual accounts. Lastly, thank you to everyone who has been listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. We really do appreciate you guys, and we will continue to create more content before season 1 ends, which, if you didn't watch the last episode, will end at episode 49. So, if you have a topic idea that you want to give to us, you better go ahead and send it to us soon, because time is running out. It's going to be a long hiatus before season 2, so yeah, just go ahead and let us know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. We will see you for episode 42, and we hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.
See you
Take
guys
care,
later.
everyone. Bye.